Hello everyone, this is a different type of scene. I'm here with a man that needs no introduction, Sven, the person that y'all already know. And we decided to do a live podcast where we will pretty much talk about our journey so far as traders and also how we grew. Yeah, so if that sounds interesting, make sure to stick till the end and let us know in the comment section if you like these type of podcasts because we will definitely do some more in the future. So, Sven, what do you think we should start this podcast with?
So let me start with an introduction. You all know me from the group. I'm Sven. I've been trading for about 3 years now. I started working with Radu back in 2021.
2021, yeah, late 2021.
Late 2021, and yeah, we learned a lot from each other ever since then, from trading and from growing this community all the way up to where we are now.
Damn straight. And now, as a quick introduction for myself as well, I am Radu, and I've started trading I think 4.5 years ago, and the first year was pretty tough, but then it started to get better and better. But like we said, we'll discuss more about this throughout this podcast. And then once I met Sven, I felt like we took things to the next level, and since then we continue to do so, to thrive for the best, and hopefully we can get better and better and help as many people as possible along the way, the journey. So, do you think we should start with talking about how we started?
Yeah,
because
that's a good idea.
That's pretty interesting as well. I haven't really personally openly talked about it with many people. I mean, I'm sure that some of you already know the story, but I'm definitely sure that not everyone knows it.
Yeah, I'm curious. Why did you start trading? How did you come into trading?
So it was pretty random. It was really random. The thing is, I think it was back in 2019. Yeah, start of 2019, when my birthday was. My aunt gave me a 100 euro gift via credit card. You know, she sent me something on my card, and at that time I felt that I have nothing to buy with that money. In terms of, I had a phone, I had some decent clothes, and of course I wanted a car, but it was too expensive. I was broke. I had like 1,000 euros saved up or something like that. And I saw a ad on a investment app, like in stocks and whatnot, and I decided to download it, and I invested in the biggest stocks like Coca-Cola, Nike, Adidas, and I think because of COVID, they were very low in terms of the prices, and I bought, and then couple of months later, I think it was 2 months later, I just randomly opened the app. I forgot about it totally, and it was a like a 600 or a 700 euro profit.
So you flipped it.
I flipped it like 6 times or so, and that opened my eyes, so to say. I was like, wow, you can actually make money this way.
But it was pure luck.
It was pure luck, exactly, because then I came to realize that if you actually want to make money with stocks, you already need like a big chunk to be able to invest in it. And I started scouting things on YouTube, like everyone does, through stocks. Then I bumped into options trading, futures trading, and then a Forex video came on the recommended list on YouTube. And that's when I clicked that video. It was a video that was super enticing, with a person claiming that he flipped a 100 euro account to like 5,000, and for me that seemed very enticing because that's exactly what I wanted. I didn't have a lot of money, but I did have 100 euros to be able to flip it. But I didn't knew that it's not the case.
You fell for the trap that everyone.
Yep, I fell for the trap. I bit the bait, so to say, and that's exactly how I pretty much started the Forex journey. And like I said, I bit the bait. I thought that I could be able to find a strategy that would make me flip a 100 euro account to a 5,000 euro. which now sounds crazy because now know how trading actually works, and that is really unlikely to happen.
Yeah.
But that's how I pretty much got into trading.
Interesting. So you basically just fell for the trap that everyone fell for, but
Yeah,
eventually you started realizing that
that's not the
it's not the case, but
It's not
there
the
is a
case.
lot of money to be made in trading.
exactly. So that's how I pretty much started, and of course we'll discuss about that later on, about how things went from there. But I want to know about you because I don't really know how you got into
No,
into
I
trading.
never really told you. Well, the thing is, when I turned 18, when I was 17 even, I was really interested in making money online because I worked in a grocery store. I worked at 5 a.m. in the morning in the weekend. So
Wow, that's
I
tough.
had terrible hours. I had a terrible pay. And I was just like every other teenager. I wanted to be able to buy stuff, which I couldn't.
Yeah.
And then I started looking into how can I make money online. And then at that moment, my brother-in-law, he was drop shipping, and he taught me how to do
Drop
drop shipping. And so I started doing that when I turned 18, and it went really well. I made a lot, well, not a lot of money. I made good money from it, but I never really liked it. I had no passion for it. I
Mhm.
didn't like the idea of having customers wait 14 days for a
Yeah.
package from AliExpress. So eventually I decided to quit it, and I didn't like the stress that came with it as well. So
Mhm.
there was more than enough reason for me to quit drop shipping. But then I had to find something else. And then, like you said, you see that beautiful recommended video, how to flip 100 euros to
Exactly.
5,000 euros. And I knew about trading because I talked to some dropshipping friends who knew some stuff about trading, and they taught me. And then I saw the recommended video, like you can make an X amount of money with trading, and I think that's what everyone falls for.
Yeah.
And of course, I fell for it. I started to blow a bunch of challenges. I started to
Live accounts.
live
small
accounts. I started on live accounts.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I just rolled into it like that, and eventually I just started noticing that even though I was losing money, I was really passionate to find out why these markets move the way they move. And that's when I started diving into like actual
The deep end.
the deep end and actual technical analysis. And then over the years I became profitable mainly because I was just so passionate about the way the markets moved.
About trading in general.
Yeah, about
That's
trading.
beautiful. That's beautiful. So you basically started making money online with drop shipping,
Yeah.
but you found out that it's not really your passion because it brought a lot of stress into your
Mhm.
life. And then you decided to quit it and search for something else, and you bit the bait the same
that
as
everyone
I did.
falls for. Yeah.
And I mean, this is one of the reasons we decided to do this live podcast, because by talking to you guys about these things that we went through, and you understanding them from us, because we didn't really had someone to understand it from. We just jumped in the deep end and then we started to pick things up. But we think that if you guys truly understand the things that we went through, you can definitely avoid some steps
Yeah.
that could save you a lot of money.
Can easily shorten your learning curve.
Exactly. A lot of time, like you said, and also a lot of stress, because the stress that came with it, I can still remember the sleepless nights when I was you definitely know what I mean.
Checking your phone.
Checking your
constantly,
phone, placing
over
trades,
leveraging in a
over
trade.
leveraging,
Yeah.
placing trades without stop loss, praying for the price to reverse.
No certain sessions, just waking up in the middle of the night,
Exactly.
placing a trade, and then closing it.
Exactly. So maybe if you guys hear our stories, you will definitely be able to save up some stress, some money, and even some time. And that could be a lot of time, because there's people that are stuck in this situation for years, unfortunately, and there's some that don't even make it out of this.
Yeah, some guys
situation.
that I know have been trading for 5 years and
They're still
are
there.
struggling.
Yeah, they're still there trying to flip accounts.
Yeah, and it's always the same. It's always about the mindset that they're approaching trading with.
Exactly.
And I think that's really, really important in trading, is that you eventually start shifting that mindset into understanding that it's not something that's going to happen within a
Overnight.
year. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen within a year. In most cases, like you have some cases, of course, some people make it in 6 months, but that's
Very
ultra
unlikely.
rare. It's,
Very unlikely.
you should never expect that to happen. But
Yeah.
the
To be fair, yeah, I think you're totally right. It's super unlikely unless you start off with like the right mindset,
Right,
which is really
yeah.
tough. Because to be fair, everyone starts trading like we did because we wanted to make some money quick.
money. Yeah.
But then we hit the wall that tells us that it's not possible, and you have two options: you either quit or you try the same path that will blow even more and more money,
Yeah.
and till eventually you'll quit because
Exactly. And it's funny you say that because when I started trading in my first year, after a few months of losing money, I decided to join a Discord group. And I noticed that I was friendly with a lot of those people. Like we talked
Yeah.
and we chatted and it all clicked. But I noticed that now, a couple of years later, all of them quit. I mean, I
Yeah.
didn't, but like all of them quit. And the reason they quit is like you said, eventually you just bump into this wall. And that is exactly where you've got to decide to keep going.
yeah,
And that's exactly where most people quit.
yeah, that's true. It can be really tough. But yeah, this is the thing that helped you. Now that you told me about dropshipping, you basically quit that because it wasn't something you enjoyed. But to me, I know you very well already. We've been together since like 2021,
Yeah.
working together since. And the thing about you is that you're really passionate about trading.
Yeah.
Like it's very visible. And I think that's the thing that helped you make it through. Because you said it that, okay, I made a lot of money with dropshipping. You did. You had some really good months or weeks, but you quit it because you didn't like it. You had too much stress because of it. But now with trading, and I saw it in you, you just like trading. You just like
Yeah.
being able to view the markets, to backtest different strategies, to collect the data, and then to use it to your own benefit. And I think that's exactly why you managed to
Yeah.
get through that.
I think it's
Hard stage.
necessary. Yeah, because if you don't like
If you don't
trading,
like it, yeah,
you won't make it because you have to be
True.
passionate about it. The reason that I like trading now, because at first it's like, you know, we both came into this for the money, of course. But now I'm at a point where, of course, money is nice, you know, and you make money
Of
from
course.
trading. At the end of the day, we all want to make money from trading. But the reason that I stuck with it all these years is because I was passionate about being able to develop an edge in the markets.
yeah,
You know, and I was passionate about understanding how probabilities come into this market and not
That's
just,
straight.
you know, you can be the best technical analyst and still lose trades. And I was really passionate about it. Like, how does that work? You know, I was like, how can you be good at technical analysis and still lose trades? And because I was so passionate about that, and because I was passionate about understanding how trading works, technical analysis works, but also how probability and risk management comes into place, that is how I really, you know, got through this, and that's how I came out profitable. And it's where a lot of people give up, because a
Yeah.
lot of people, and I'm sure you've been through this as well,
True.
a lot of people start strategy hopping, even though their
Exactly.
technical analysis is on point. If you do, it doesn't matter if you do support and resistance, supply and
True, that
demand,
can be profitable.
all of it can be
Yeah.
profitable. And I don't like to talk about people like this works or this doesn't. All of it can work. Indicator-based strategies can work, but it's about not strategy hopping, and I'm sure you've been through this as well.
Yeah, I've been through it a lot, especially in the beginnings. Like you said, when I started, and when you started as well, I just decided to jump straight on the live account because I just wanted to make some money. You know, I wanted to
Yeah.
make some money and quick, and then seeing those people claim that they managed to flip those amounts. I'm not saying that they didn't do it. I just say that it's very unlikely to do it. Maybe before they even managed to do that flip, they blew over 20 accounts before doing
Yeah.
it, you know, but they afford it because they already were at a certain financial
Mhm.
point where they could afford to blow 2,100 euros account till they flip 1 to 4K, for example.
Yeah.
But I started on the live account. I legit started on the live account because I felt like I don't need a demo. I just want to go straight on live and make some quick money. And that hit hard because it was very tough. I was blowing accounts one after another. I was very impatient. And fast forward, I think 2 months. Fast forward 2 months, I blew my whole savings. I saved up in high school I think around 2,000 euros, if I'm being honest. 2,000, maybe 3,000 max. From birthdays, from parents, you know, from school as well.
Yeah.
And I blew that all on trading accounts, live accounts, small live accounts. I was usually depositing like 1 or 200 euros, trying to flip it. I sometimes flipped it to like 400, but then I got even greedier. I wanted to make 1K from that, and you know how that would end.
Yeah, you blew it.
I blew it. Besides those, even like couple FTMO challenges, like 2 or 3 50K accounts. I don't think I went for the 100K, but still that was a considerable amount. And at one point it became a addiction, right? How you get the gambling addiction, you know, where you get some money and you go ahead and gambling it, and you gamble it. That's how it kind of became with trading for me. I was pretty addictive. I just wanted to get some money to be able to deposit it on my broker so that I can trade it and hope to flip it and make some money from it. And at one point I just had a breakdown. I was in the car. I even remember I was driving, and I had a trade running, like the steering wheel, and the trade was running here. I was seeing how the trade was running
whilst you were driving.
Whilst I was driving.
Oh wow!
And it was a margin call.
Oh no way!
It was a margin call. Another account being blown, and I remember I stopped into a parking lot, and I legit started crying.
Yeah.
For like 5 minutes, I started crying, and I said to myself, "No, I want to stop right here. I'm not going to do this anymore. I blew so much money. I'm not feeling right." And I legit wanted to quit. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted to quit, and I did quit for like, I think it was 1 week or 2 weeks where I didn't touch a chart. I didn't open Discord, Instagram, because this is something that we have to be super careful with, and a lot of you guys as well. Nowadays, social media puts a lot of pressure on us. We open Instagram, for example, and we see all these people flying private jets, driving fancy cars,
getting
fancy holidays, only winning trades, and seeing that, we think that, okay, if they do it, then why can't I do it? And we put a immense pressure on our shoulders to make it. And that's exactly what I did as well, because I started with a huge expectation. I started trading being like, okay, in 2 months from now, I want to be able to buy my first car. That was like a dream of mine. And that hit hard. That hit very hard. And that's why those 2 weeks, I quit everything. I didn't open social media because it was toxic. You know, it was a toxic environment. And that's why, in my opinion, and to be fair, I think you can relate as well, having a smaller exposure to social media in general, especially in this niche, could be a very beneficial thing, especially in the beginning.
I agree.
Especially in the beginning.
I think it's great to have a mentor, whether that's through social media or in real life. But I think the biggest issue comes when you start comparing yourself, and this is what I did, and this is what led to me strategy hopping over 1 billion times. If I look at my back testing sheets, I have sheets of probably 50 different strategies, and not even over exaggerating. It's really 50 different strategies, because whenever I was trading and I took a win, I was excited, I was happy. Like you said, it's that addiction, that feeling of like, yes, I took a win, and you want more, and then you take another win and you feel extra good, and then you start taking 4, 5, 6 losses, and you start taking bigger risk as well, and then you're like, shit, this strategy doesn't work anymore, and you start looking at Discord where you see
other people winning.
Some guy named the Legendary Trader who's taking 50 winning trades, and you're like, I gotta learn his strategy. And then you start learning his strategy, and you take a couple of winning trades, but then you start losing again, and then you go on to do the same thing over and over and over again. And that's what I did, and I think that's where a lot of traders are, going, getting stuck, because it's really difficult to break out of that. So it's really beneficial. Social media can be beneficial, but it can also really hurt you.
Be toxic,
Yeah. It's really about how you manage it, because it can be beneficial in terms of
motivation,
definitely, and getting a private mentor.
True.
And learning about technical analysis and learning about other people's mistakes. But in order to do that, you'll also have to face the people that post only winning trades.
Yeah.
And And to be honest, I was like this as well. When I was in a Discord server, I saw people posting winning trades. So whenever I took a winning trade, I posted it.
Yeah.
You know, not knowing how many losses everyone took, but people started messaging me like, "Hey, I see that you're taking all these winning trades.
Yeah.
Can you help me?" You know. And then it was like, wow, it's really, really easy to fake being profitable online.
If you only show winning trades.
Yeah, and I think this is where a lot of people get stuck.
Get it twisted.
Yeah, they get it twisted because they set these expectations of how can I not be profitable like this guy who posts only winning trades and who was driving a Lambo at 21 years old, right? And I think that's really important to understand that nobody posts their losers in this game. Rarely anyone posts their losers. It's really people post winning trades and they lie about results, and people start comparing themselves to to these people.
That's true.
And I hear some people say that you shouldn't compare yourself to someone who's been trading 5 years, and I agree for 99%, but you should also not be comparing yourself to anyone except yourself, because those people who have been trading for 5 or 6 or 7 years, they can also lie about results.
Exactly.
Everyone does it. I mean, hopefully not, but a lot of people do it.
Yeah, there's still some few people that don't, but generally that's the case, and it drives you crazy because that's the thing. When I was seeing these people getting winning trades, I was thinking that okay, there must be a holy grail. You know, that's how I started. I was thinking like, okay, if I get to that strategy, that will give me a 90% win rate or 100%.
Exactly.
That's when I will unlock all the profits and become a millionaire and enjoy life. That was the mindset, because again, I was seeing all these people winning, but I didn't think that okay, they might post only winners and hide the losers.
Exactly.
You know, and that took me a lot of time to understand, and a lot of stress and money, because like I told you, I was about to quit.
We learned it really the hard way.
Exactly, and because I didn't really have someone to talk to about it. Like, yes, I bought some courses up to the point where I quit. I was already into some courses. I bought some few mentorships that were pretty helpful, you know, like I learned basic support and resistance, how to use basic indicators. I could have already been profitable by using those ways, right?
Stuck to it.
If I would have stuck to it. But like you said, once I was getting those 2, 3, 4 losses in a row, I was like, nah, this strategy doesn't work. Let me jump to another one.
Yeah.
And then again, I was getting that dopamine hit of winning 2 or 3 trades in a row. And the mistake was, after I was winning those few trades, I was even risking more, you know, because I felt confident. I was like, I'm on a big win streak now. I'm gonna flip this account. And guess what?
And
next trade, I would have blew it, because I would have used a much bigger risk. And then again, I was blaming the strategy. No, this strategy doesn't work. I still need to find the holy grail. And that's where I quit. And then after 2 weeks, I don't know, for some reason, I still felt something like a fire, you know, burning.
Yeah, because you know there's
because I knew that that there was something there to take advantage of and to make some good money out of it in the future. And I restarted, but I restarted with a huge fear. Like I restarted on a demo with a huge fear, and I was super conservative. And that's when I got into risk management, something that we really want to discuss.
Yeah.
Because we think that risk management and being able to understand that, like you said, trading is a probabilities game, is something that I got to then. But it could have been a lot sooner.
It should have been the first thing that we were taught about.
Exactly. It should have been a lot sooner, but that doesn't happen, and it would have saved me a lot of money, stress, and time as well.
Yeah.
But that's when I got into it, because I was feeling fear.
Yeah.
I was very conservative. I was fearing the markets. The first time I was fearing the markets, you know. And that was something good, actually. That fear was something good, because it kept me conservative for a long period of time. And in that period of time, I understood how trading actually works in terms of risk management, how important risk management actually is. And also understanding how easy it is to get an edge, because I was thinking that, oh, it's something super complex. I have to spend 10 hours plus every single day to find out about that edge. And that's when I learned those things.
Yeah, and I assume that's when you started understanding that, you know, the edge has to play out over the long term, and that's when you get confidence. Because you said you feared the markets back then. And I feel like there's a lot of people who have that fear. You know, once they start strategy hopping and they start losing, they're like, is it me? Is it the strategy? Is it the concepts that I'm using? But I feel like it's really, you know, you have that fear and greed are kind of like the two main emotions that drive you in the market,
Exactly.
or like most people. But once you have that strategy and you said you were being super conservative and you start understanding that if I take these conservative A plus setups constantly over and over again, you'll develop the confidence and you'll also develop that edge that eventually leads to profitability.
Exactly.
And I think this is, we see a lot of people who ask us stuff like, I have an edge because I back tested it, not live tested, but back tested it, and I want to quit my job next week.
Yeah.
And you know, I get it because I hated drop shipping as well. I really didn't like doing it. But it's you've got to understand in trading that it's not something that once you have an edge in the markets, you'll instantly be profitable. Because technically, when I was back testing, like when I was probably like 6 months into trading, I had an edge in
Yeah.
my back testing results. Yet it took me another 2 years to make
To
it.
become profitable.
Yeah, it took me
Yeah.
another 2 years because I didn't understand that even though I had an edge in back testing, I couldn't just quit my job. I couldn't just stop having income and put all my hopes on trading
On
because
trading.
on back testing I had an edge. And I feel like this is where a lot of people need to understand that you have to slowly build your confidence, slowly build that edge, improve your win rate, and then you start seeing profitability.
Exactly.
I was trading a strategy back in 2021 that was really profitable, but yet I took losing trades, and someone else who had been trading that exact same strategy for 6 years, he was constantly taking winning trades. And I was like, we're trading the same strategy. How do I take losing trades and he takes
Yeah.
winning trades? And then I started realizing, okay, he has 6 times the experience than I, more than I do.
Yeah.
So that's when I started realizing if I just stick to one thing long enough, eventually my edge will increase. Eventually I develop the confidence to pick only A plus setups, and then that will lead me to profitability.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Makes total sense.
yeah.
Makes total sense. And yeah, this is something that a lot of people tend to believe, that if they sacrifice their job, they will make it in trading. And to be fair, I kind of understand the mentality because I thought of it as well. Because we discussed this before, in like 99% of things in this world, like let's say you want to become a successful athlete, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to start sacrificing things since you're very young.
Yeah.
You need to have a healthy lifestyle. You need to have a lot of time for training. You need to go to sleep early. You don't need to drink. You're not allowed to drink. You have a very strict lifestyle compared to, let's say, your friends at school that might be playing video games till 2 a.m., might be drinking the whole night and party. So you have to sacrifice a lot of things early
Yeah.
in your life to be able to have a chance, not even to make it, to have a chance to become a successful athlete. And besides that, all the hours that you have to put in. Athletes train around 6 hours a day, like professional ones. And that's why people think that, okay, it's the same with trading. If I want to become a super profitable trader, then I have to sacrifice everything and dedicate my whole life to trading. And that's actually what I thought as well, and probably you too.
Yeah.
And that's not actually the case. Seeing after all these years and after all the experience we both gained, we now both understand that when it comes to trading, you don't have to sacrifice anything. You don't have to sacrifice time with your family, with your loved ones. You don't have to sacrifice your job. Because, for example, how much time do we spend for the trades that we take on our accounts daily? Let's be honest.
30 minutes.
Exactly, around 20 to 30 minutes. People spend around 20 to 30 minutes, I don't know, in the shower every single day, right?
Yeah.
So would you sacrifice your job to stay 20 minutes in your shower? No. That's exactly how trading is as well at the end of the day.
And it's funny because it's exactly what I did. When I was drop shipping and I was making money drop shipping, I was in college. I was studying music, and I thought to myself, how about I just quit college and I fully dive into trading. I'll be backtesting 10 hours a day, and
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll be profitable 10 times faster than everyone else.
Yeah.
Right? Because I sacrificed it, but it was totally unnecessary because I don't believe you have to make the sacrifices. I believe you have to make time for it, and if that
Yeah.
means, you know, sacrificing an hour or two of Netflix,
That's
sure.
great.
You know, but in my opinion, Netflix, it's not necessarily a waste of time, but you could
It's not
always,
productive.
it's not productive.
Yeah.
So instead of saying like, I don't have time for it, you could just, you know, sacrifice that 1 hour of Netflix
Yeah.
and start learning how to trade.
Yeah.
And you don't need to quit your job and hope to be profitable in a couple of months because you're going all into trading like I did. Because to be fair, I don't think it helped me at all. You know,
Yeah.
quitting school. It might have made my journey a little bit faster, but at the end of the day, trading is mostly just about experience. And you know, you gotta understand these technicals, but they're not too difficult to learn.
Exactly.
Like if I would teach someone from A to Z all the technicals, I'm sure I could teach them in a couple of months and they would understand it. But it's the experience that really makes them understand how to be profitable. The experience and understanding profitability or probabilities, and understanding how an edge plays out in the long term, not on one trade, not on two trades,
Yeah.
over 50 or 100 trades. That's how an edge works. And I think that is really what people get wrong. Like they think that I gotta quit, I
Yeah.
gotta quit working, I gotta dive all into trading like I did,
Like I did as well.
like
Yeah.
you did as well.
Like we did.
And to be honest, backtesting is important. You got to spend a lot of time
True.
backtesting
True.
to refine your edge, to gain confidence in your edge. But at the end of the day, what's really going to make you profitable is a combination of that edge, however simple it may be. Because I remember when we first met, you had a really, really simple strategy.
True.
And just understanding that it's not 1 or 2 or 10 trades, it's like 100 trades, and that is where you want to be profitable, and not making 10% a month like these prop firms say
Suggest.
they do.
Yeah.
Or suggest, but making 2 or 3 or 4% a month.
Yeah. True.
really-
That's sustainable.
yeah, exactly.
that's
That's the
sustainable.
only, in my opinion, the only sustainable thing in trading.
True. Yeah, that's very true. That is very true. And getting 1% better every single day, because like you said, backtesting is very important in building up your portfolio, so to say, and your experience. But again, you don't have to quit your job or sacrifice anything to be able to build that
Maybe an
experience.
hour of Netflix a day.
Exactly. Just create a schedule, optimize your time, because we all can optimize our time. And 1 hour a day, if you're just starting, or you just started a couple weeks ago or 1 month ago, that's still very, very new. Just optimize time and start backtesting 1 hour a day. Then maybe you can do 1 hour and 30 minutes and study for 30 more minutes a risk management plan that you can then apply. And you will see that if you stick to this plan, and over long term, over a couple months, you will be in a different place
Yeah.
when it comes to your experience and the way you view the markets, and you're gonna feel great about the progress you've made, and without sacrificing anything, without sacrificing time with your family and sacrificing your job.
Exactly.
Because we all know that it can get really tough. Let's say you decide to quit your job and you don't have like a safety net, and you go all into trading, you're gonna become so emotional. And we all know that emotions are the worst thing when it comes to trading. Being emotional when you trade, because that's when you will find yourself closing trades early that might have hit your target, right? That's when we find ourselves closing trades in drawdown because we are afraid that the stop loss will get hit, and then the trade might reverse and hit the take profit. And because of that, you will feel very angry, very greedy, and you might start doing other bad things for your account that will end up, that will pretty much get you to a blown account and to blown capital. And you'll get in this vicious circle that ends very badly. And then you're pretty much back there at square zero.
Yeah.
And you have to restart everything.
Exactly. I remember when we met already, I was trading and I was good at technical analysis, but because I didn't really have a good income source, because I quit dropshipping, I was putting all my hopes in trading. And like you said, that is
pressure.
That is when it gets really hard. And I think it's really important for people to understand, also for the people who are watching this, that there is no thing as quickly making money in trading, or like
Exactly.
having, you cannot go from even if you get funded, in my opinion, even if you get that 200K account, you cannot go from 500 euros a month to 5K a month, because it's really rough mentally.
It's a big step.
It's a really big step, and it's just, it's not viable for everyone, because if you say you get 100K or a 100K funded account, you'll instantly have to make 5% to get to that 5K target.
Yeah.
How are you going to deal with that mentally? Because you're so used to making 500 euros.
Yeah.
You'll be closing out every single trade that runs in profit, because you'll be like, wow, this
is too big already.
Yeah, this is already such a large sum of money, right?
Yeah. And then when you lose a trade,
and you get all messed up in the head, basically.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very, very true. And the thing is, we are mentioning this not to tell you guys that it's not possible to make it with trading. It definitely is.
Mm-hmm.
But we promote the steady approach where you take things step by step and get 1% better every single day.
Yeah.
And in time, you build up your arsenal, so to say, that you can attack the markets with. And that's how you can build up over the long term and eventually have trading as your main source of income.
Eventually, yeah.
Because it's definitely possible.
Yeah.
It's definitely possible, but we promote the steady approach where you would also continue with your job, and like we said, you could optimize your schedule and allocate 1 hour a day. That's even 1 hour a day, in my opinion, is enough.
Yeah.
Right? Because we spend 30 minutes for our personal trading, right? And if that's the case, then you could spend 1 hour a day for, let's say, a year or 2 years to master a system, to also understand risk management and probabilities. And after this time, of course, for some people it could be 6 months, for some it could be 1 year or 2 years. It doesn't matter, in my opinion. As soon as you are done with this step, and then you can start with the next one where you can actually trade and over the long term maintain some sort of consistency and profitability. That's when, in my opinion, you could start building up and saving up to have some sort of safety net. And let's say you get to one point where you know that, okay, I have a big safety net, I could legit quit my job, and if I don't make anything for 1 year, I could still live off from what I saved from the past 2 years, for example. And that's a lot better. That's a lot better to have as how can I say? That would be the best for you to kind of consider placing trading as your first spot in terms of income, because you know that, okay, I have this safety net, and you won't feel the pressure and the emotion you would feel that when you wouldn't have this safety net, right? Because if you know that, okay, I'm good for 1 year no matter what, no matter if I blow my FTMO account or my funded account or my own personal, I still know that for 1 year I can still live comfortably because of my safety net. That's when you can take it one step further and be very level-headed when it comes to your trading. You won't do those mistakes anymore because of your emotions, because you know that you have the safety net, and that's how you could trade full-time, in my opinion.
I agree.
Because it's possible.
Definitely.
We both know that it is possible. And I personally think that this is the best approach.
I agree. And I think it's really important to mention that you've got to risk what you're comfortable with as well.
Exactly.
Because one of the best traders that I know and I've met in my career so far trades a massive account, massive account. And to me, it's a lot of money. And in general, to most people, it's a lot of money. But because he has gotten so comfortable with having that kind of money and having that amount to risk, for him it doesn't make a dent in his net worth or in his bank account. Say you have a €100 account and you lose €1, nobody's going to be like, shit, I wish I had that €1. But that is exactly, you've got to be able to understand that €1 that you don't care about is exactly how trading should be. You shouldn't care about what you're risking, because if you do, then you're risking way too much. And I've had this question a couple of times when I say, well, if you don't feel comfortable risking that amount of money, why not just risk 0.1%?
True.
Because that way I don't make any good money. And that's where a lot of it goes wrong. You're once again relying on making money from trading. And I think it's really important to understand that it's a slow game like everything else. You
Yeah.
don't go from, like from level 1 to level 100. You go step by step.
Yeah, 1% every single day.
Exactly, 1% every day. And there's no such thing as going from, like I said, from 500 euros to 5K. That's just
To become a
not
step.
how it goes, yeah. And for me as well, when I started trading, or when I started getting profitable, I should say, I got trades that made me €5. Nobody cares about €5, right?
True.
And then I got trades that made me €10, and then I was getting comfortable with that. And now I'm at a point where I can risk a large amount of money and feel comfortable with it because I've just, I've leveled up. I've gone step by step,
Step
1%
by
better
step.
every day.
Yeah.
And that's how you gotta approach this, in my opinion, to fully understand the mindset behind trading.
Yeah, I can totally agree on that. And yeah, it's just a mindset that we start this with. We start trading thinking that, like you said, we can jump all these steps, and from level 1, we can jump to level 50
Mm-hmm.
in like 1 month. And
Yeah.
it's impossible. It's very unlikely, and that's why so many people get stuck. And that's why we also
We also
got stuck.
Yeah.
It was just, maybe it also was a bit of luck, that we we pushed through, and we actually made it to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where I feel that most people
Most
fail.
people fail, yeah. And I think it's, well, I would say luck in terms that I'm lucky with the fact that I have so much discipline. Because
Yeah, that also matters.
because it's mainly, I never quit because I knew that I was going to make it, because I saw
Eventually.
other people that made it. And I want to touch on that, what we said about the 1 hour a day. I'm 99% sure if someone spends 1 hour a day on one strategy for 2 years, they'll be way more profitable than someone who studies technical analysis every single day for 5
For
hours.
5 hours, exactly.
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 And I feel like, I'm not saying like, oh, you cannot spend more than 1 hour a day on trading.
You can.
Because in the weekend, of course, you can spend a couple of hours back testing. But eventually it gets to a point where you're just going to meet a losing streak, and then you'll be like, maybe I can try a different strategy. That is exactly where you should
That's the
switch
vicious
that
circle.
mindset. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just going to stick to this for the next year, maybe 2 years. And then I expect to make maybe, a couple euros per trade, a couple of dollars per trade.
Whatever you feel comfortable
Exactly.
with. Yeah.
And then you slowly start scaling up. And then eventually you get to a point where the big guys make money, Eventually, but that takes years in
True.
most cases, except for like some outliers who do it in a couple of months. But that's so
Yeah, I think it's
extremely
very
rare.
unlikely. It's very.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you have like a mentor, and I would say like one-on-one mentoring. Like actually meeting up and seeing how he
Real life mentoring.
real life mentoring, how he actually does the things, how disciplined he is. But again, how many people have that opportunity, right?
Exactly.
Like 90% were in our shoes, so to say,
Mm-hmm.
because not everyone has the possibility to have a connection with someone that trades to that type of level and help them out. And even if that's not the case, it would cost you a lot of money to be able to afford, let's say, a live one-on-one mentoring.
Yeah.
And most people don't have. Did we have that money when we started? No. We had a couple hundred, yes, and maybe 2K saved up along high school, but we didn't have that type of money to be able to afford live one-on-one mentoring.
No, I was actually in debt when I when I started trading because I had that music college and it was pretty
Yeah.
expensive.
I can imagine, yeah.
So it really got to a point where I had to understand that I'm not going to make any money off of trading as long as I'm relying on trading.
True.
And that is really what I want to tell all of the members, is that please don't quit your job to expect to make money with trading.
True.
Even though we have the signals, and on top of that, the signals that provide an edge over the long term, I should mention. And we have the mentorship, we have everything.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that you can instantly quit your job
Because
and
of it.
become a millionaire, because that's just not
That's
how it
not the
works.
case. That's
Even
not
if you
the
have
case.
that real life mentor, it's still going to take a while for you to gain that
To
experience.
understand, exactly.
Yeah.
Because like you said, you mentioned that you had a trader that you were following, and that you traded the same strategy, but you had losing trades and yet he still had winning trades. And again, that was mostly because of experience. Because, for example, I trade for almost 5 years now, and of course that I view the markets differently than, let's say, a person that started last week, even though he would know the strategy I use step by step.
Yeah.
But there's some decisions that I would make that he would probably not make yet, because he doesn't yet.
Between profitability and losing.
Exactly, or break even, for example, right? And yeah, that's, like you said, that's also very important to understand. And the thing is, trading can also be lonely. Like, I've heard a lot of people speak about it loudly, like profitable traders, that trading can be lonely. And if I'm being honest, I think you can relate as well. That's probably the main reason we started this community, right?
Yeah.
Because we felt that we need to do something else besides trading that we also enjoy doing, of course, and that's also beneficial, right?
Yeah.
And that's why we kind of started this community, because it's something that we enjoy doing. It also helps other people get to the next level or achieve what they want to achieve. And it also fills up our time, because let's be honest, it would be weird to, let's say, do something for 30 minutes a day or 1 hour and then do nothing.
Exactly.
When you know that, let's say, your girlfriend is at her job, you know, your parents are working as well, your friends are working as well, what would you do, you know, with all this time, all this free time? Because we could legit trade only 1 hour a day and then have the full day free.
Yeah.
That's pretty lonely. Like, you would enjoy it at max for a couple months.
Yeah.
But then you would be like, okay, but what's next? Like, it's lonely. I have to do something, you know? So that's why even when you quit your job, it's a fine line between keeping that discipline, because the thing is, a lot of people will keep that discipline of trading 1 hour a day, like we said, but then after they will see that they have all this time left, all this free time left, trust me, a lot of them, they would start trading more than 1 hour a day. They would be like, okay, I'm trading New York session, right? After 1 month, they will be like, okay, I'm profitable, I have a lot of time, let's trade London session as well, because I have so much time, right?
Mm-hmm.
They start trading London session, maybe that works too. And then they want more and more and more. And it adds up till one point where you again are in that vicious circle, where you find yourself spending, let's say, 6 hours in front of the charts, and you also get into a losing streak, and you can also get stressed out, because sitting 6 hours in front of the screen, it's not something easy to do, especially when it comes to trading, right? Mm-hmm. When you have to make really quick decisions that can have a big impact on your account. So again, it's all about discipline.
Yeah.
It's all about discipline, because for us, for example, it didn't work to only trade 1 hour a day and that's it. That's why we started doing what we do, and we enjoy it a lot. But to be fair, if I would only trade, I would probably have a part-time job just for the sake of it. Yeah. Not like for the money, but for the sake of it. I would do something that, let's say, I like, just to fill up that time, because I would go insane if I would only have to do like something 1 hour every single day. Like, okay, you go travel the world, right? You see the whole world, you go on nice vacations. But then it would get boring, because all the other people in your life, the loved ones, they work when you are at home and basically chilling, because you traded for that specific day.
Exactly.
So, you know, it's really up to you as well, and to you guys, it's personal preference, really. Like, once you get there, you have to ask yourself, okay, because maybe there's some people that just like to work 1 hour a day, and then the rest of the day they just like to, I don't know, watch Netflix or sleep. Maybe that's their case, and if that's the case, then that could work, right? But I'm sure that most people would be like us. They would enjoy it.
Feel productive as well.
Exactly, and after some point, you would be like, okay, but I only work 1 hour a day.
Yeah.
What am I doing with the rest of 15 hours, right? Or 13 hours? This is also something very delicate, I feel.
I agree, and I think that's really why you get lonely, because you have so much time and your loved ones are at work. And, you know, there's countless times that we have messaged each other where we said, we're so glad to have this community. we're so glad
Yeah.
to be able to help them out, but also
To have connections
to
with
have
them.
connections and also to see
Human
them grow.
interactions, exactly.
Yeah,
Human interactions, because there's a lot of times where people message us, right, with their achievements, that let's say they got a payout, they got a big payout, or maybe they passed their first challenge because of our help.
yeah,
Most of the times those messages make me more happy than a trade healing the take profit, you know. And like you said, I also feel the same. I told you this many times before. Trading is lonely. Like, it's only you and the chart, right?
Yeah.
And your broker's account. If I was alone on this journey without meeting you, without working with you together and creating this community, I don't know where I would have been now.
yeah. I think
I don't even know if I would have still trade, you know, because it's so lonely, and at some point you just lose your mind. Like, it can get really hard to just be only you and the chart, no human interaction, no connections, you know, and the people around you, your family, you know, they're also busy with their own life, right?
Yeah.
They're busy with their own life, with their own issues, and they don't really understand how trading works, to understand you, to understand how you feel, and to have a good conversation with you about it. So that's why I think that without you, for example, or without the community we created, I don't know if trading would be that fun for me right
Yeah,
now.
you definitely got to find something, whether that be a community, trader friend,
Yeah,
or volunteer work, or a part-time job. You know, you got to
Yeah.
find some form of human interaction. And you know, I also want to touch on the fact that we're both profitable and we both make good money from trading. And you know, last week we closed the week out with a multiple figure trade, but still that feeling of helping others succeed
is a lot better.
is a lot better than making money from trading. You know, it's weird because, I mean, maybe it's not weird, but you know, that
We're
feeling-
social creatures.
Exactly, we're social creatures at the end of the day. Like, for me, the feeling of getting a message, you know, when someone says, like this week, someone from our community told me how grateful he was because I spent a lot more time than I actually had that day because I was so eager to help him.
Yeah,
And he was like, wow, I'm so grateful. And, you know, that makes me feel good. I'm not saying that to brag or anything, but just we're social creatures, you know, we like helping each
Exactly.
other. And I feel like that is also why a lot of other traders create communities,
true.
not for the money, because let's be honest, if you have a multiple figure account, you can make a lot more money in trading than you can with
True.
a community.
Exactly.
But just the feeling of helping others, socializing, that keeps
Exactly.
you ahead.
The socializing part is very
Yeah.
important.
That keeps you level-headed, you know, that keeps you in the game and just, you know, socializing with people. And like I said, it can
In
be
the same niche.
exactly, it can, but it can also be like, for example, what a friend of mine does. He has a different business, you know, which works
True.
as well, just
True.
to socialize, just so that you're not stuck to the charts for 6 hours a day.
Yeah, because that's lonely, and in my opinion, it can drive you crazy.
It can, yeah.
It can drive you crazy, and yeah, I totally agree with what you said. It's just finding whatever you like, basically. Maybe you really are, I don't know how to say it. Maybe you really like teaching people after you get to a certain point, and then of course you can also start a small community that you could start for fun, and then in time it can get serious, like it did for us, you know. Or you can, like you said, that you have your friend that started a different business. You can also try something else by trying a different business, because it really helps with the confidence levels as well. Like you said, for example, when people message us with really good testimonials that they managed to do something because of us or because of our help, in my opinion, that's also a confidence booster.
Yeah.
Whereas with trading, right? After you trade for a while, let's say you're 4 or 5 years into trading, you're already being profitable for 3 years. When you hit the take profit, it's not that feeling of confidence anymore. You kind of get used to it, right?
Yeah, because
You
we're
ca-
just
it's
used to executing our plans constantly.
Exactly. So it becomes boring.
Yeah.
It becomes boring, and that can eventually drive you crazy, in my opinion, because it's only you, the charts, your MT4 account. You don't feel anything anymore when you hit the take profit. You don't feel anything anymore when you hit the stop loss, but you do feel something when someone new tells you that how grateful he is, like you said, that you helped him, right?
Exactly.
And then you create a connection with him, you socialize, you start getting in touch, you start getting closer, you help him along the way, and then there's some more people that come in, and it's just beautiful, you know, this socializing, like you said.
And it's funny because that's how we got close as well. Because
Exactly.
I remember when I first talked to you, you said that you needed someone to help you out with certain stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm willing to help you out, you know, because I want to meet you, I want to know you better. And that is how we started working together. And then we started getting closer and closer. Now we're at a point where, you know, we did this together, this whole community, but we also learned a lot from each other.
Exactly. That helped us not only when it comes to trading, it definitely helped us when it comes to trading.
Yeah.
Because we both kind of trade together.
Yeah.
So that's
very
really cool.
similarly, yeah.
And but mentally as well. Because like I said, if I wasn't to meet you, I don't know where I would be now when it comes to trading. Because I feel that I covered the phases and the steps a lot faster like this. You know, whereas if I would be only by myself, I would probably be 10 steps behind where we are now.
Yeah.
Both in terms of trading and also community, you know, and also mentally. Because like you said, through all the chats we had regarding trading, regarding emotions when it comes to trading, we developed a lot because of it, you know, because like I mentioned earlier, you cannot really discuss this with your, let's say your mom, right? I mean, you can tell her about emotions and whatnot, but she wouldn't understand the thing that's related to trading, you know? But where with you, we always discussed it, we always confronted it, and that's how we both grew. And in terms of trading, mentally, and also in terms of our community.
Yeah, we kept each other in line. And I remember a time where I was going through this strategy hopping phase, and I told you that I was backtesting the entire day.
Yeah.
And you were like, what are you doing? I said,
Yeah.
I was backtesting. How long? I was
Yeah.
backtesting for nearly 10 hours that day.
Yeah,
I was going in this crazy loop.
Yeah.
And that is exactly why it's so beneficial and for the members, but it doesn't have to be us, it can be anyone, to have a mentor or to have someone to look up to.
Yeah.
Just
share
someone to share it with, because they'll be like, hey, snap out of it, you know, you're not thinking straight.
Yeah. That call was insane.
Yeah.
That call we had, I think it was like a 2-hour call or 1 hour.
Yeah, something like that. But
And
it just goes to show that, you know, it doesn't have to be a professional trader, it doesn't have to be a mentor, but someone
Exactly.
who understands trading and understands that what you're doing is just you're stuck in a loop, right?
yeah,
And I feel like that is one of the most beneficial things that the members have, is they have us, you know, and
True.
and if they, and I'm sure you've gotten a ton of messages like these. I have for sure as well. People just say like, hey, I'm not feeling good because of this and this and this, and we can just tell them, hey, we've been there, you know, snap
Yeah.
out of it and get back on track. And that's probably one of the most important parts about socializing in the trading industry.
yeah,
You know, and preferably with people who have trading experience. Because I really remember how you said like a couple of words that already kind of like flicked my mind.
yeah. It was an analogy. I even remember it. You know,
Yeah.
because the thing is, I also went through that, and I knew that it was a bad thing for you. That's why I was like, okay, snap out of it. And I did this analogy. Remember, I told you that.
Yeah.
Try to think of backtesting as of smoking. You know,
Yeah.
like today you said that you backtested 10 hours.
'Cause it
That means
feels
that you
good at
smoked
moment. Yeah.
10 hours in a row. You know, it feels good on the moment, but it's pretty much eating you up, you
Yeah.
know, constantly eating you up. I told you that, bro, you don't need to backtest. You already know how to trade. You already have an edge on the market. You don't need this.
Yeah. I was
And I feel
constantly
that-
finding my edge, trying
Exactly,
to improve.
constantly trying to make it better.
Yeah.
And that's when you stop, and I think that's when you started to become like the most profitable in your
Mhm.
journey. That's when you really started to take those funded accounts as well.
Yeah.
And your trading just
It really when
evolved.
yeah, and that's when I started really understanding that it's not necessarily being the best technical analyst, because I was constantly trying to see like, okay, I took a loss. How could I
Yeah.
have avoided this?
Yeah.
And I always tell this to our members as well. If you look hard enough, there will always be a reason
Reasons,
to lose
yeah.
a trade. And you know, after that call, I really understood that. Okay, I was going crazy. I was trying to refine
Too
something that-
perfectionist.
yeah, I was trying to make something perfect that cannot be perfected, right? So, yeah, I feel like that's really you need some sort of accountability, and it's really hard to do that by yourself. And
Yeah.
that's right. It's really important to, either join a group like ours, or you talk to a trading friend or someone who
That
understands
already has
trading.
some experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that way you'll be able to you'd be a lot more level-headed in this pretty difficult game of trading.
Yeah, true. And talking is very important, because if you keep all things inside, I think that's gonna eat you up, and eventually you're gonna hit a wall. And
You're
it's
either
really
gonna
tough.
quit, or your journey is gonna be twice or
Three
times as long.
Yeah,
Exactly.
definitely. Because I remember, like, bro, even back then, you had a ton of experience.
Yeah.
Because this guy is like the best market analyst I know. He has like, I don't know how many hours he has on FX replay or on all of these backtesting tools. So if I know a person that's has a lot of data in his pocket, it's this guy right here. So that's why I was like, okay, bro, you already know it. You already have it there. Just snap out of it and just continue following your plan. But again, he already had a big portfolio, so to say, in terms of backtested data, what to do, what not to do. You already had pretty much everything sorted when it comes to that part. But only this, you wanted to be a perfectionist.
Yeah, the psychology of trying to be perfect, you know, trying to have that holy grail, that 100% win rate.
That doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I've been there too, because it took me a while to understand that trading is a probability game, right?
Yeah.
It took me a whole time to understand that okay, for example, you flip a coin, right? You have 50-50 chances for it to land on tails, or but sometimes it lands on tails for 5 times in a row, but it's a 50% chance. But you have to look at the, like you said, at the broader perspective. After 100 flips, after 200 flips, you will see that there's actually a 50-50 chance for it to land on both sides. And that's something that took me a while to understand, that okay, even with a let's say a one-to-one strategy, for example, that has a 65% win rate or 70%, which is really good. Over the long term, if we would use the FTMO equity simulator, we will see that it's a super healthy graph. I actually did this in the past, in a YouTube video, I think. If you scroll down, you will see that the max loss streak can be like 5 trades in a row,
or even more.
And then that was something that I understood hardly, because I was like, okay, if a strategy is 70% profitable, has a 70% win rate, then after I lose 5 trades in a row, I would feel like it's not profitable, and that's why I would jump to another one and another one and another one. But when I understood this probability part, that trading is a probability game, and let's say you have a 1 to 2 risk to reward rate strategy, right, with a 50% win rate, which is solid. With a 50% win rate, you could expect to have a max losing streak of 7 or 8 trades in a row. Trust me, 9 out of 10 people, after they have 7 or 8 trades lost in a row, they will jump onto another strategy. And I feel that this is again a part that is very hard to understand, that not many people talk about, and a lot of people hit a wall when they approach this part.
Yeah, it's kind of what I admired about you when I first met you, was you were trading such a simple strategy.
1-to-1.
Yet, 1-to-1, indicator based, yet you were more profitable than 99% of the traders that I've met in Discord. And I was like, how can this be so simple, yet so profitable in the long run, of course? And that's really when I also started learning that, okay, it's not about being perfect in this market. You don't have to be the best person at technical analysis. You just need a simple edge in the markets and execute that over the long term.
Exactly.
And I think that's really the key point, and that's really hard. People hear it, but they don't understand. They don't understand it. They don't really get it. And I think it's really what you gotta really ingrain that into your mind, that it is
okay to have a losing streak.
It's okay to have a losing streak. And there's this trader that I follow on Twitter, or X, and he's really transparent, and he said, like, I lost 12 trades in a row last week.
Wow.
And he also messed up, you know, because he had a psychology error. And I think that's really important to understand, that even the best traders, because he's a really good trader, even the best traders
could take losing streaks.
And also make mistakes that, you know, psychological mistakes, or they have FOMO, or they take a profit too early. And that's something you'll most likely never entirely get rid of, but you will be able to manage it to a point where you can still be profitable even if you make mistakes.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And Also, one more thing that I wanted to mention. The thing is that a lot of people, when they first start, including myself, are aiming for the big risk to reward ratios, right?
Yeah.
Because you said that in the Discord that you were in, I was more profitable than the 99% of people. But guess what? I was using a one-to-one risk to reward rate strategy. You know how many people laughed at hearing that I was using a one-to-one risk to reward strategy?
Yeah.
Because when you start, you think, oh, I have to use a 1 to 5.
Yeah.
I need to risk $100 and make $500. That's sexy, right? That's what you want. But the thing is, I'm not saying that you cannot be profitable with that. You definitely can. I know people that are profitable with a 1 to 5 risk to reward rate strategy. But the thing is, with the 1 to 5, a average losing streak is like 10 trades in a row.
Exactly.
Like that's the average. And you have to be okay with that. That's why people don't understand. They jump into a 1 to 3, 1 to 4, 1 to 5 because those are the attractive ones. Who wants to trade a 1 to 1, especially when they start? They're like, oh wow, should I risk 100 to make 100? That's too small. Let me risk 100 to make 400, right?
Exactly.
But then they get into a losing streak of 10 trades in a row, which is totally normal for a 1 to 5 risk to reward ratio strategy. And then they be like, oh, this strategy doesn't work. Let me jump to another one. And that's when they get into the vicious circle that we discussed about, that a lot of them gets stuck in.
Mm-hmm.
And again, probabilities are very important to understand to get out of this loop.
We've kind of found our sweet spot at 2 or 3 R.
2 or 3 R, exactly.
That is also just because we now fully understand that it's probabilities. That doesn't mean that we will never make mistakes or we'll never get upset about a losing streak. But it doesn't mean
but we're aware of it.
We know why it happens because we cannot control the markets.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really good way to end this podcast with, is by telling people to understand that it's okay to have losing streaks. Don't focus on trying to be perfect like I did.
Yeah.
And just understand
Don't
that.
rush.
Don't rush the process.
Like we did.
Like we did. Basically, don't do a lot of the things that we did.
Yeah. Don't be us.
Just understand that it's gonna take some time. It's gonna take some practice. You should hold yourself accountable. You should find someone who can hold you accountable.
Yeah.
And make sure that you just stick to one thing. Or if you really don't like it, stick to something else. But you just make sure that you stick to something long enough to know that it is profitable in the long run and to eventually gain experience, gain confidence, and then find profitability.
Exactly. Totally agree. And also practice delayed gratification, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Don't try to hop into trading having in mind that next month you'll quit your job, you'll be driving your dream car. Try to delay that. Try to think of it that, okay, I'm going to start trading now and set a 10-year goal, right? In 10 years from now, I want to be able to quit my job, to drive my dream car, and after that, just take it one step at a time, 1% better every single day. Once again, you guys don't have to sacrifice anything, and if you learn from the mistakes with it, it should definitely benefit you and save you a lot of time, money, and stress.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think we could end this podcast here. Please let us know in the comments if you enjoyed it, because we will definitely do some more. I really enjoyed it. It's actually my first ever podcast.
Same.
So it was super enjoyable, and we'll definitely do some more. So feel free to let us know in the comments down below if you enjoyed it, and also if you have any ideas. Maybe you guys have any ideas that we could discuss in the future podcasts. And we'll definitely check every single comment out, as always.
Exactly, as always.
So we could end it here, and till next time, you guys can always reach out to us on Telegram. We will be there for you. Okay? So that being said, we want to wish you all the best.
Exactly.
Have a good day.
And take care.
Take care.